And we are live. Check it out, everybody.
Yay.
All right. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to DevRunner. My name is Paul. I'm an endurance runner and RRCA certified running coach. I am joined this evening by a certified health and wellness professional and fellow YouTube host who always keeps me personally very motivated. Uh, this right beside me is Kirsten Quick from Kirsten Quick Fit. Tonight, we are going to be talking about cross-training for runners. We're happy to take questions and comments in the chat. And if you're watching after this is live, if you're watching the replay, please feel free to drop comments below. And we will get back to you with our comments or emails, whatever suits you best. But before we get into it, I want to thank you, Kirsten, for being here. And just to get started, I want people to get to know you a little bit better. So I'm hoping you can share a short bio, talk about who you are, where you're from, your athletic background, and what got you started running.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me on. I was so excited when you asked me to be on. And, to be honest, running for me is another form of exercise. And I look at you, Paul, and I'm like, honestly, you just blow me away.
Well, the same is true on your side. Just to interrupt you, because we were talking before we got started on the live stream, and I shared with you the fact that when I was trying to put together my own core routine, as a complement to my running, your channel, I found you, and it was like I was hooked from there on, because your advice is so solid and you're so friendly and so high energy. So with that said, let me get back out of your way and let you introduce yourself a little bit more.
Yes. So I'm Kirsten, and I've been in fitness for, I want to say, pretty much forever. I started when I was a young girl, went to jazzercise, with my mom, and just continued from there. Running track, being on softball teams, basketball teams, soccer teams, always being active. I cannot remember a time in my life where I wasn't active. Just grew up being active. Ran in college. I started teaching classes. My first profession was in television. I was in television production and news, but on the weekends and at nighttime, I taught classes at the YMCA, at Bally's Fitness. Remember Bally's?
Oh, yeah.
So hey, Misty.
How you doing, Misty?
People. I love Misty. Thanks for being here, hon.
Yeah, she's the best.
She's the best. And so I taught fitness back, on my off days, on the weekends, in the mornings, because when I worked in the news, I worked at nighttime. Mm-hmm. And then just kind of progressed. And then, I've just been teaching classes ever since. And I like to say this, Paul, because it's hilarious. I'm so old. How old are you? When I first started teaching step classes, they were wooden. We made our own step class. We made our own step boxes. So that's how long I've been in fitness. But I've been in it forever. 25 years ago was when I was like, you know what? Hey, Aaron. Yay.
How's it going?
You. Do you know Aaron, Paul?
I do. We kind of go back and forth every once in a while. Yeah.
Yeah, he's amazing. Amazing information, amazing knowledge. So I've been in fitness forever. 25 years ago, I'm like, you know what? I had this deep desire. I wanted to help people. And hi, Ellen. Nice to see you. I wanted to help people. And I was like, how can I help people? Because I know I don't have the retention for a doctor or a nurse. No way. See, I didn't think there was any way I would love you even more, but I do right now. That is amazing. You had a wooden step.
Yes. That's funny.
I wish I still had mine, but I got rid of it in one of our moves.
That's funny. I've got a little wooden step stool here at the house, if that counts for anything.
Oh, it totally counts. It totally, any wooden steps is brings me back to the day. So 25 years ago, I'm like, I want to turn my hobby into a jobby. I want to do it full time. I want to help people. How can I do that? And so I'm personal training, became a certified personal training personal trainer through ACE. Oh, Aaron, you're so nice. You're so
We've got a
helpful.
nice little community going on here.
I just love you guys. I truly do. Paul and I were talking before how wonderful our community is, how supportive and encouraging, and it totally means everything. And it's why we're here.
Exactly.
I mean, when I first started YouTube, I was like, I don't know, like fitness is saturated. Like there are so many good fitness people out there. And,
yeah. And that's the same is true in the running community, but it's like one of those things like, I love it so much. I just wanted to jump in as well, but
yes,
I think I think the more, the merrier, the more voices you have out there, the more opportunity for everybody to learn. So
I agree.
Everybody keep on keeping on.
I agree with you, Paul. And so, well, my journey's so long, so I'm not a spring chicken. So like I did the personal training. I have like over 25 specialty certifications just in like body pump, body step,
That's
turbo
awesome.
kick, TRX, Pilates, spinning, like all that, because I love it. I have a passion for it, not just for working out, but for leading others and encouraging and coaching others. And then I became a certified health coach through ACE about 5 years ago.
Wow.
And I love ACE, the American Council on Exercise. I think it's just, we have to do continuing education every single year to maintain our certification. It's super important because, things change, information changes all the time. And to stay on top of it, we need to, and honestly, if we weren't made to do it, I'd be like, I'm good, but we have to do it to maintain our certification.
It's great to hear you say that, because as an RRCA coach myself, I go through the same thing. It's like I finally got my certification earlier this year, and we're already, the preparations for recertification are coming up, and it's a great way to stay fresh because, as because you cover more ground than I do in the different types of regimens that you have to be specialized in. And it's just, there's so much new information constantly coming out. And it's just, I have such a passion for this stuff that, the 2 points I want to make is I love learning this stuff. And the reason, Kirsten, that I came to you is because I know how deep your knowledge is. And I just knew it was going to be a perfect match to get you on here.
Oh, that's so nice, Paul. Thank you. Thank you very much. I feel the same way. Honestly, no, I'm like, I look at your training regimen and I'm like, oh my word. The discipline is beyond. It truly.
Yeah, and as I said to you earlier, it's only because I'm an old guy. I feel like if I don't keep it up, I'm just going to fall apart. So
got to keep going every single day. We have to move. We have to do something. And I know Misty's on here, and Misty is doing the same thing. And it's like every day you just have to be like, what am I going to do today?
Exactly.
And Paul, you run a lot. And I know that's one of the things that we were going to talk about today is the importance of cross training. And I love the fact that you work your core like every morning, before you run or whatever. Like that's awesome. And I love the fact that you share that because it's so important to maintain strength.
Exactly.
That's exactly right, Aaron.
We can always be better than we were yesterday. Exactly. And that's a point that I keep saying. We were talking about this before we started the live stream, but yeah, it's almost like we were focused in on a lot of what everybody is saying here. I don't like being compared to other runners. I don't think anybody should be comparing themselves to everyone else. That's just an absolute joy killer.
I agree with you.
Compete with yesterday, and that's the way to stay motivated, and that's the way to stay happy out there.
Because guess what? No one wins in comparisons. Yep, every day you just keep going. Like, what are we going to do today? But like comparisons, Paul, like, yes, Misty, 5 minutes. If that's all you have, do 5 minutes.
Exactly. You'll feel better when it's done.
And there's been days where I'm like, I've been so busy, but I'll run around my block. And I'm like, at least I've done that. If that's all you can do, do what you can.
Exactly.
But comparing yourself is a no-win situation for you because there's always someone stronger. There's always someone more fit. There's
Exactly.
always someone working harder. There's always someone younger. There's always some, you be you, and you're competing against who you were yesterday, because nothing else matters. Don't compare yourself. You are uniquely you. There is no one else in the universe just like you. So you
Exactly.
shine and you be you, right?
Exactly. And you know, when you find those people who are maybe more physically capable than you are,
Yeah.
or they've got a mental angle that you've never considered before, don't consider them competition. The first thing I do when I find somebody who's just got their game together is I
Yes.
go to them and I start picking their brain. You know,
Yes.
Kirsten, that's why you're here right now, is because I found somebody who's just killing it, and I want to learn more from you. So thank you again for being here.
That's
Um,
awesome. It's my pleasure.
yeah, Kirsten, I wanted you to talk a little bit more before we get into the cross training stuff proper.
Huh?
Just talk a little bit more about how your physical activity, how all of your background in athletics kind of got specifically into the running field.
Yeah, for sure. So I was a runner from early on, and then I was in sports, and so I was just always active. And running has been something different for me, a form of fitness for me, different in different stages of my life. So when I was young, I was a competitive runner. Um, and as I was in college, I ran more for like mental therapy, just to kind of, clear my head from studies, and
Gotcha.
also, to work off the pizza that I might have had Friday night. So, college was different. And then, I mean, once I started having kids, it was like the only time I could work out was like at 5 a.m. So I would get up, and I mean, I lived in Ohio back then. And so we have brutal winters. And so
Oh, yeah.
I would bundle up, go out for my run, because I knew that was the only time during my day I could get my exercise in. And so I got that baby weight off. That just meant a lot to me at that time. And then running kind of morphed again. Once my kids got older and I had some more time to myself, I became competitive again. And I was like wanting to win my age group. This was, I don't know, 12, 15 years ago, wanting to really work on my time. And I did. I worked with a neighbor of mine who is a fantastic runner, and he helped me. And so I became competitive again. And now I find I'm having fun. I've done Spartan races, mud races, 5Ks, 3Ks, 10Ks, basically just having fun. And here's the thing, I have to be really careful. And I'm kind of like you, I can be competitive. Running for me is not that for me anymore. I like to I don't want to put that much pressure on myself anymore. I just want to have fun with it. Like, running is fun for me. So when I do these races, I'm like, this is not for competition. This is for fun. And I have to like really like feed that into my brain. And so that's what it is for me now. Like, it's just fun. And that's what it's all about, right? Learning from each other.
Exactly.
I love that. Love that.
Sorry, I'm just catching up on these before we get deep.
Yeah, no. But so running for me has ebbed and flowed throughout my life, meaning different things. For me, it's been a form of fitness. For me, I've done it every day. Now I do it a couple days a week. I'm really busy with, my clients and my classes. And so I don't have a lot of time, but I still like to get it in. And one thing you said, Paul, which I love, you said in one of your videos, you're like, if you've only run one time, you're a runner.
Yeah.
And I've always said, I joke, and I'm like, I'm not a runner. I run, but I'm not a runner. And when you said that, I'm like, maybe I am a runner.
Absolutely, you're a runner. Absolutely, you are a runner. I think everybody who's laced up their shoes and headed out the door and had, mustered the guts to get out there and put themselves out there in front of everybody, you're a runner. Absolutely.
Right.
You are serving as an example to everybody. All of your neighbors, all the people who are watching you are not saying, oh, what a silly person going out there and trying to run. What they're saying to themselves, all the people who are worth knowing are not saying that. What they're saying is, what a great example. I need to get myself out the door and do exactly the same thing.
That's
You
good.
know?
That's good.
So go out there, everybody.
I'll take that.
Go out there with confidence, folks. You're serving as a wonderful example to all of your neighbors. So,
That's good. That's nice, Paul.
let me kind of steer us a little bit more in the cross training for runners direction. Yeah. I'm hoping that we can talk tonight about cross training in the most inclusive sense. I don't want to exclude strength training, even though some people consider strength training its own thing off to the side. I want to talk about strength training, aerobic fitness, core strength, the whole kit and caboodle, because especially to newer runners, the idea of, but wait a minute, isn't running hard enough? Why would I want to do something else on top of all that?
Yeah.
And, you know, cross training makes runners faster, stronger, more resilient to injury. It improves our balance, our flexibility. And I'm going to just cut myself short there because I don't want to talk anymore about this stuff. I want to give this over to you, Kirsten, because you are the expert with cross training. So yeah, tell us why. Why should people cross train?
Well, I think the most important thing is injury prevention. When we are doing the same thing over and over and over again, you run the risk of an overuse injury. And so that is, I think, the pinnacle of what none of us want, right? I mean, you don't want an injury. I don't want an injury because that changes everything. When you're doing the same thing over and over, I mean, you've got tennis elbow, golf elbow, we've got knee problems, plantar fasciitis. I mean, all kinds of problems that happen because of overuse. So when I've always been super careful of that, when I ran, I would always give myself a day off. So I would run, day off. I would do something else, run, day off, run. So I mean, I honestly, even when I was running like all the time for my main exercise, I was always taking days off just because I did not want an injury. And especially as you age, injuries can get a little harder, you know, can be a little harder to recover from. So I think the main thing is injury prevention. Like, do something else. Give, you know, your ankle, your knee, your hips, give them, your back, a little bit of a break from the high impact that running actually puts on your body.
So glad you said that, because I was going to go there probably a little later on tonight, you know, because one of the very first and most fundamental things that I learned as a run coach is that cross training needs to be, you know, specifically for runners, needs to be low impact and should mimic the running motion as closely as possible, because you want to continue to work those muscles and the other supporting muscles, but you take such a hard pounding as a runner out there that you know, if you can find cross training that doesn't destroy you quite as efficiently as running does, then you're in good shape. So.
Yes. And what do you like? What do you do?
Gotcha. Sorry, just want to make sure I get this down.
So true.
Yeah, exactly. Balance is what it's all about. For me, my in the big picture of physical fitness is I consider myself a runner first, but then to support my running, I do a core routine 7 days a week. As soon as I wake up, I roll out of bed and I kind of wake up in the middle of a set of sit-ups and leg lifts and things like that. So that's a 7 day a week thing for me. I you know, and it takes me about 20 minutes to get through it, and it just kind of wakes my body up. And then ideally, when I'm not in the middle of a marathon training cycle that's destroying me, I like to lift weights 3 times a week. And lately that's gotten down to like twice a week. So, you know, it's just a matter of finding the hours in the day, et cetera, et cetera. But and just like you already said, Kirsten, that's in order to keep me strong and to keep me resilient from injury, because at my age, if I wasn't doing that stuff, I'd fall apart pretty quick.
Well, and also running, I think you're really smart to be strength training, because running can really rip up your muscles, and you want to keep those muscles nice and strong. So, I mean, we're not really even talking about nutrition or hydration here, but that's super important too. Absolutely. But I mean, cross training with endurance strength training, not overloading, going too heavy in the strength training, but doing like lighter weights, more reps is what I would recommend.
Mhm.
Because you're still building muscle, but you're still maintaining, that flexibility. You've got lean muscle growth, and not necessarily the bulk. Some people want the bulk, but I've really never met a serious runner that wanted the bulk.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's funny because, when you talk to a lot of or watch interviews with a lot of the elite type of runners out there, the people that we all look to as like the
Yes.
ultimate examples, they are in the gym and they lift heavy, but they lift heavy when it comes to lower body stuff. They're exactly they're doing the squats, they're doing the
Yeah.
deadlifts and the calf raises and the
Yeah.
and the weighted lunges and stuff. But when it comes to their upper body and their core, they're following exactly what you just said, Kirsten, where they're trying to keep a certain modicum of strength so
Yes.
that they can put up with those miles, but they're
Yes.
not trying to get big.
Yes. Well, when we're strength training, we're actually building. Oh gosh, isn't that the truth, Aaron?
Absolutely.
And you're young, you're 42.
Spring chicken.
That's right. But when we strength train, we're actually building strength in our bones. Our bones get stronger through strength training. And so I don't know about you, but when I go out, if I'm out running in the dark, I've tripped before and I've like landed on my ankle wrong, fallen off a curb. And I'm really thankful that I can get up and keep running, that doesn't destroy me, because I feel like my bones, my joints are all so much stronger from all the strength training I do, the squats I do, the deadlifts, the lunges, all of that. So there is something to be said about maintaining strong bones.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, especially runners, they put a lot of weight on making sure that their tendons, ligaments, and muscles are strong, but they don't realize that constant pounding, your body is adapting by strengthening your bones as well. So absolutely. Running is a wonderful way to get healthy, but in order to, it's a very demanding sport. Let's put it that way. So cross training is immensely important.
Well, and I also believe that it can also help you be a better runner. So doing HIIT workouts, high intensity interval training, and other endurance workouts, those are the two things that are going to help you be a better runner, because you have the high intensity. So it's your heart rate shooting up and then down, up and down. And so honestly, being a runner, you've got great cardiovascular health. I remember I go to the doctor now, and the first thing they say is, "Are you a runner?" I'm like, I have to be a runner to have a good heart rate? It's the first question they ask is, you're a runner, right? Because you're just that heart, it's great training cardiovascularly, but there's other ways you can get that. And that's through HIIT and other endurance, meaning like swimming or biking or, inline skating, on the elliptical, like you were saying, anything that kind of mimics that same movement as running, like that's always a great cross training thing, for runners to do.
Exactly. All those little stabilization muscles around your ankle and stuff and your knee benefit so much from doing exercises other than moving directly forward all the time like you do in running. So it's, hugely important. I've said that a million times already, but it's so true.
And Aaron made a really good point about doing different things too. So not focusing necessarily on the same muscle groups, but hey, let's change it up. Let's give those muscle groups a little bit of a break.
Yep.
That's exactly right. Aaron. I mean, especially we as women, and as we age, osteoporosis, osteopenia become a big issue. Bone density becomes a huge issue. So that is so very important for women. Absolutely. Strength training.
Absolutely. Now, Kirsten, I kind of want to get your take before we eventually. I want to take this conversation into where we're talking about specific different types of cross training, because, I love the fact that you are expert at so many different disciplines that are going to be of use to runners. And that's why I recommend we'll get all of your social media stuff shared out, because anybody who follows me needs to follow you, because
Oh,
we'll give everybody a much more complete picture of what they need to be doing
that's
to
really
excel
sweet.
at running. But before we get there, let's talk a little bit about the mental side. What are the mental and emotional benefits of cross training? Looking at it from a runner's perspective, like for me, it's a great distraction, because if you're
Yes.
just out there pounding the pavement every day, that can kind of get to be a bit of a grind. But if you've got some other physical activity to look forward to, it just kind of keeps everything fresh for me. So I'd love to get your perspective.
And how important is that?
Hugely.
Huge. Motivation is huge. Your enthusiasm for what you're going to do that day determines if you're going to do it or not. And so
Exactly.
doing the same thing day in and day out, day in and day out, guess what? Eventually you're going to be like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to do that today. And then that one day turns into 2 days, turns into 3 days, turns into 4 days. If you give yourself that one out, you're going to give
Exactly.
yourself an out for way more days, which stinks. So you want your enthusiasm to be there, your motivation to be there. Change it up. So I have a group of about 45 women that I'm on an app with, and
Mhm.
I give them our schedule for the week. I do 5, 6 boot camps a week. I do 2-a-days, Mondays and Wednesdays, and I'll put out the schedule like on Sundays. This is what we're doing.
Mhm.
And I change it up. And the girls are like so excited because we're always doing something different. And that's the main thing for them, is that we're not doing the same thing over and over again, because it would be so boring. And
Exactly.
I love, running is therapeutic for me now. It's a release. I love how I feel afterward. But if I just did that, I'd be like, I'd not be so excited about it. And,
Exactly.
and so, like, you run a whole lot. What keeps you excited?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's kind of like there's a lot of answers to that. I just wanted to say hey to burps. um, how much continued weight training is necessary to maintain these gains during running race season? That's a good question. That's a very involved question. Kirsten, I'd love to get your perspective on it. As far as I go, I think when you start strength training, or cross training for that matter, if you're a serious runner trying to be competitive, I think that you should start your other exercise regimens in the off season, not when you're in the middle of a training block, because you want to be very kind of laser focused once you're in a training block. But go for your big gains in the weight room in the off season. And once you start your training block, the time has come to back off a little bit. I've found, speaking in real time here, I'm kind of at the tail end of a marathon training block right now. And I am, if you've been following my series, I'm not finding the time, and I'm very low on motivation to hit the gym 3 times like I do in my off season per week. I've cut it down to 2, and I've even let it slip to 1 a couple of times in the last 14 weeks. But I think that's just because I'm working so hard with my legs out there on the runs, putting in all those miles and all that speed work. So, and in all truth, I have not seen my strength go down when I go out, when I hit the gym and I hit the weights 2 times per week during this training cycle. I'm not finding any. It's not any harder for me to get those weights up. I think I'm maintaining the strength with less weights and more running, and it's all kind of balancing out. Um, but I defer now to Kirsten, because she's going to know in a much more scientific way why that's true.
Oh, you're 100% right. I would say, like, during the season, you don't want to be doing too much strength training. I mean, you're focusing on your running. The gains are made, personally, the gains are made off season. If you wanted to maintain that, and that's the way you train, I would do no more than 2 days a week with strength training. And it all depends on, I mean, Paul, you're a marathon runner. It all depends on how heavy your running training is. I don't know Burks, and I don't know if he's a marathon runner like you are, or if he's like a super serious runner, but that makes a difference too. I mean, if you're just running for leisure, then yeah, you can definitely get strength training in it, and it's not a big deal. So it depends on what your ultimate goal is.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. But if you're killing it with your running in the middle of a training cycle towards a race, then yeah, feel free to back off a little bit on that weight training, anywhere to, I would say, like 33 to 50%. Once
absolutely,
you're not going to lose strength. Trust me. That has not been my finding anyway. So, so I think we kind of naturally veered into what my next question was going to be, which was, the best time to introduce cross training to a runner, and obviously off season being the best. Kirsten, I think we have reached the point where people are probably wondering about the different options out there. You cover so many different types of exercise. What do you find generally to be the most beneficial to runners specifically?
Well, we are so blessed right now, I think, in the amount, in the different array of options available to us. I mean, we've got Orange Theory, we've got these little boutique bar gyms, we've got the YMCA, swimming, we've got, we have so much to choose from. And, what I had mentioned before is high impact interval training. So there are so many classes available, whether it's in a gym or whether it's a local, gym or establishment, or even a local person, doing HIIT training, doing Tabata training, doing endurance. I like to do endurance strength training, which is like a body pump style workout. It's actually cardiovascular, but you're working your muscles as well. There are so many different options out there. I would say, what do you enjoy doing? Because that's the most important thing. You want to maintain that enthusiasm. You want to get up and be like, okay, I'm going to go do this today. Because if you're not excited about it, you're not going to do it. So find something you like to do. Find something that is going to really kind of challenge you a little bit. Spinning classes are great for increasing your endurance. And I find when I was like a real serious runner, I loved to bike. That's when I became a spin instructor. And I instructed that class. And plus I went on outdoor rides all the time. But that was a great addition to my running because it helped build that endurance. Swimming. Oh my gosh, can we talk about swimming? And I've never been like a serious athletic swimmer. I only have done it for leisure. But swimming, like Paul, have you ever? I mean, that is like one of that and running are two of the best ways to get in the best shape of your life.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm not speaking as somebody with a lot of experience in the pool. I've had so many people who've said, dude, you've got the running down. It's time to try something else. Get on the bike or start swimming, do a triathlon or something. And I'm kind of like, I'm happy to admit it intimidates the heck out of me. So I need to, but
there's like mini ones, right? Like mini triathletes you could try, but like even getting in the pool and running against the resistance of the water,
it's a wonderful way to rehab as well.
Yes, exactly. Because that water is just provides resistance, but there's no gravity. So it's like a wonderful way to rehab and to also, build up, to cross train. There's so many different ways to cross train, so many different classes. The TRX, I don't know if you're familiar with the TRX, but TRX classes, there's so many different ways. I would say just be creative and find something that you like to do.
Exactly. It's a great place to start because, as you said, that kind of enthusiasm will carry you through,
Absolutely. That's what it's all about.
exactly.
That's
And
exactly right, Aaron.
exactly. Well said. I tell a lot of people, I get a lot of newer runners who come to me and they'll say, even when it just comes to running, never mind cross training, they'll
Yeah.
say, well, how do you get out there every day? Like, you know, and I always say, well, the first thing you have to realize is that motivation and willpower are, in my opinion, I always say, are just so highly overrated. Like willpower is going to get you through the race. Willpower is going to get you to the end of that long run.
Yeah.
Once you're already out the door, but it's not necessarily going to week after week, day after day, going to get you out the door in the first place. There has to be a certain amount of being, as an athlete, you have to be able to turn off your emotion sometimes, especially when it's negative emotion, and just think to yourself, well, I don't want to do this. I'd rather be doing anything but this, but I don't care. I'm grabbing my shoes, I'm lacing them up, and I'm getting out the door. And I know in a mile and a half, I'm going to be feeling pretty darn good and very happy with myself that I actually got out the door. So,
it's Paul, it's discipline. It's discipline, and it's not following your emotions and your feelings. Cause it's like, you know what? I don't really feel like it today. Well, it doesn't matter how you feel. You just go and get it done. Just go
exactly.
do it. Because
Grind
I'm
it out.
telling you, you give yourself one out, you're going to give yourself a million outs. And like
Exactly.
you said, you're going to be so glad. I mean, I can't tell you how many times, we're out there, 7:30 in the morning, it's cold, whatever. The girls have come, and so many, like half the girls are like, I didn't know if I was going to come, but I'm so glad I came. I feel so much better. I know my day's going to be better. And so,
Exactly.
and I tell them all the time, I'm like, you sleeping in is a short-term benefit. It goes away the second you stand up out of your bed, because you're going to go, I wish I would have gotten up and gone to class.
Exactly. There's so many times where I'll be laying there in bed thinking, oh God, I'm supposed to go 12 miles and then go to work, and the sun isn't going to be up for another 2 hours. And you just kind of, what my trick is always, I think to myself, even if I do sleep in, I'm going to hate the feeling of walking around the house for the first 10 minutes anyway. So let's just
Yes.
do it,
Just do it.
Just do it. But the point that you made earlier, Kirsten, that I love is picking a means of cross training that you just genuinely enjoy anyway, because it just makes it that much easier to kind of talk yourself into
absolutely
standing up and getting out of bed. So
that's the most important thing. Don't pick something that, sometimes the couch of doom. How true is that?
That's now part of my vocabulary right there.
That is the best. That is the best. No, but like finding something that you enjoy doing, that you like to do. Now, to be honest, I like challenging myself sometimes, but that's not an everyday thing, Yes, you are. Yes, that's absolutely, we are all worth it. And that it's a form of self-love. It's a form of self-care.
Absolutely.
Getting up and doing something for yourself, because yes, you are worth it. It's amazing, because the more you take care of yourself, the more that you can help other people and be better at that. Like I find when I can take care of myself, I'm a better mom, I'm a better wife, I'm a better sister, I'm a better friend, I'm a better aunt. And that's a good thing. I had someone tell me like years and years ago that it was so selfish to go out on runs and work out on my own. And I was like, what?
Yeah, everything has to have their own me time. Never mind the physical benefits, but even mentally and emotionally, having that time to yourself where you can concentrate on whether it be the problems that the day has brought, or something more positive like the goals, short-term or long-term goals. If you've got time where there's nobody kind of getting in your ears and you can actually concentrate, it makes you a better person. It allows you to accomplish more in the day, taking that time out for yourself. So if anybody has somebody kind of putting that negativity in their ear, sorry, just ignore it and keep moving,
Yeah.
because it's not going to help anybody.
Yeah. Don't let that in, because it's taking care of yourself is not only for your health, but, we've talked about the mental benefits of running and exercise. I mean, that's huge. I mean, everyone is dealing with, especially now, anxiety, depression, stress, frustration. And I'm always telling my clients, get it out physically, get it out physically. And a lot of times they're like, I'm not sure what you mean. And I'm like, just work, get it out, and then we'll talk afterwards and I'll just see how you're feeling. And they're like, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. And a lot of times, I have one of my boot camp groups, we box. And so I put I'm like, all right. And so they punch against the pads on my hands. And I'm like, get it out, get it out. And they look at me and these are not violent women. These are so sweet. They're so sweet. And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, are you frustrated about anything? And they're like, well, yeah. And I'm like, punch it out. And they're like, I mean, I'm like, man, I don't want to make you angry.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What a great relief that must be for them.
It is. And same for running, just pound it out, get it out on that pavement. But there are so many benefits. And, you're a serious runner and you focus on, marathon and your time and that kind of thing. And running, for me right now, is therapeutic. I go and I have 2 days a week that I go run, and I go, and there's a little park I go to, and I do laps, and then I walk in the woods, and then I do laps again. And for me, it's just it just feels so good. So running
absolutely
can be different things for different people. It can be just a workout, or it can be, I'm racing, I'm going to do a marathon. I'm going to do a triathlon. I'm super serious.
Wow.
Oh gosh. You need to look at Aaron's story. He has quite the story.
Yeah. I need to learn more.
Yeah. Check him out. His channel. Well, you already know him, but yeah, it's amazing. I saw that video where he shared why he got into fitness and exercise, and it literally saved his life.
That's wonderful. Amazing. That's wonderful. That's so awesome to hear that you found a positive outlet instead of letting that beat you. Man, that's wonderful.
Well, it's funny. When I lived in Ohio about 11 years ago, I ran a gym. It's a little boutique gym. And I was doing 3 classes a day, teaching 3 classes, training, doing all this. And I went to my husband and I'm like, I think I'm addicted to exercise. And he was like, there are worse things to be addicted to. You're fine.
That's great. That's great. And Aaron, I do not know if you are aware of Anthony's channel, Running for My Best Life. It sounds like you guys got a certain amount in common about your motivations for getting in shape and finding an outlet for bad situations. But man, you guys should talk. That sounds like a great match.
What channel is that, Paul?
That is Anthony over at Running for My Best Life. He's based in Los Angeles, and he has in the last few years utterly turned his life around. He has formed his own nonprofits to help other homeless people in his area, and he and his wife are doing amazing things. Just a great guy. I've had him. He was a guest on my subscriber spotlight series on my channel. So if you want to get to know him before you talk to him, go check that video out. He's an amazingly great guy.
Oh, that's amazing. It can. I mean, it can change your life completely. I have so many people that it's just completely changed their lives. Oh.
Well, again, to repeat myself, Misty, I'm so glad you found a healthy outlet. Just. God, this warms my heart. Just who thought I was going to get emotional on a live stream? This is awesome.
I know. And it breaks my heart that people can be so cruel. Oh, wow. Aaron,
glad to know you know him.
And awesome. I'm sorry, Misty, that you went through that. And I'm sorry if anyone goes through that. That's a terrible, terrible thing. And I don't know how people could be so cruel. But you have turned it around. And now you are working, you're taking care of yourself, you're making good decisions. And guess what? You're empowered. You have the power back You're not empowering the people that bullied you and that were cruel to you, because they don't deserve that power. And that's a choice that you've made. And good for you, Missy. Good for you. You know, you put yourself first and you take care of yourself, and don't even give them a second thought, because they're not worth it anymore. They're in your past, and now you're moving forward.
Exactly. You've got a whole new set of people that you know now that are utterly supportive and will go to the mat for you any day of the week. And on top of that, Misty, I really want to make the point here. You know, we talked a little bit about this earlier tonight, but you are now setting an example for other people that none of us have met yet, that are feeling like they're under the thumb of a bad situation, and they're searching, they're looking, they're out there, they're watching videos, looking for a way out, looking for a way to turn their lives around. And now you have become that example. So rock on, and I'm so happy for you. So just keep on keeping on.
Absolutely. Misty, you're amazing. Your channel is growing so fast, and it's because you are sweet, and you're, oh my gosh, 110.
Just awesome stuff. Awesome.
Congratulations. Listen, you are going places, girlfriend. I mean, you're already there, and people are looking up to you, and you are inspiring them. And that's what I love about YouTube. Like, YouTube's so great. Like, there are awesome people on here, you guys, that are encouraging and supportive and kind and loving. And I don't know, it's just a great community of people. And, you know, there's a lot of you guys on here right now.
And a point I really want to make, you know, Misty, like I stop by your channel, you know, every so often, and I know I've left comments for you before saying that you motivate me, that you inspire me, and it's absolutely true. You know, a lot of people will look at a channel like mine where here's some guy running fast and talking about, you know, working out probably too much, et cetera, et cetera. And some people can be intimidated by that, but I really hope that my channel is not coming across that way, because to me, the times I'm running, or that any of the people that I coach, there are some amazing people out there that can do things that make me look ridiculously slow. And to me, that's not what it's about. To me, it's all about the motivation and the inspiration, all of us supporting each other. Because, you know, Misty's story, and so many people that I've talked to and interviewed on my channel, you know, they're, as far as running goes, they're just learning the ropes. They're not running times that are going to impress the heck out of a lot of people, but their story sure does. And, you know, it makes me tear up, and it makes me go out there next time and try harder, because I know their story now, and I know how hard they are pushing to become better than they were yesterday. And
I'm so with you, Paul. I'm so with you 100%. Everyone has a story, and there's a reason why everyone is out there. There's a reason why everyone is doing what they're doing. Everyone has a story, and that's what we have to keep in mind. And we also don't know what everyone is bringing to the table. Like, what have you dealt with today? What have you dealt with last week? Like, everyone has stuff, and everyone's trying to do the best that they can.
That's awesome. I love these stories. This is just making me happy.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. It's incredible how focusing on physical fitness affects your whole life. Was that you, Paul? You have a truck?
I want him to raise it. No, I don't, but that sounds pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Cool. So, Kirsten, I want to talk a little bit about CrossTraining. You know, we said it's a great way to prevent injury. It's a great way to stay strong. It's a great way to stay motivated, not just physically, but it's a great way to emotionally and mentally kind of stay in the game. But people do not realize, and this includes runners, how important it is to be able to, like, if you are injured, if you're out there and you just kind of pull something or hurt something as a runner, and you take yourself out of the running game for a little while, the importance of strength training, not just as a preventative, but as a way to get back in the game, and as a way to maintain your fitness while you are out of the running game.
Yes.
Before we get deep into this, because I want to hear all about your, you know, because I know you can speak to this
Yeah.
in a much better way than I can. But I just finished a series on my channel where I was coaching 3 runners to their running goals. 2 guys were going after a half marathon PR, and 1 guy was going after a marathon PR.
Mhm.
And in the middle of all this, we did it for like 16 weeks. The guy who was going after the marathon PR injured himself, pulled a hamstring 11 weeks into the 16-week training cycle.
Oh.
And we had to kind of work to kind of keep him in good enough shape while he healed, so that when race day came along, he'd be able to handle it and hopefully still be able to pursue his dreams. And it was a lot of cross training that and stretching and just kind of, you know, that and swimming and things that again mimicked the running motion as closely as possible to keep his aerobic system and his heart used to that hard work.
Yes.
And you know, while he did not hit his A goal in the race, we were so happy because he made it to the start line, first of all.
Oh, that's
and
great.
he finished the marathon. And not only did he finish the marathon, he finished it only 2 minutes slower than his best ever time. And this was after 5 weeks of trying to rehab. So there is a lot of value in cross training, in finding something that keeps you motivated, that keeps you healthy other than running. Because you can maintain fitness even when you're out of the running game for a while. Now, with that long-winded me talking too much, Kirsten, I'm bouncing it over to you to talk about every aspect of the importance of cross-training to rehab.
Well, I would say I would really promote active recovery as opposed to rest. So when you injure yourself, it's really important to do something rather than doing nothing.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people get injured and they're like, I'm injured, I can't do anything. And your recovery time is going to be so much longer than someone who does an active recovery. Like you just said, like that story right there, it's very important to keep going. I think stretching, I love using bands. I think using bands is so important to get those, to keep the muscles strong and also to stretch and help in recovery of, you know, whatever injury you may have. But finding something that mimics but doesn't have the harsh impact that the actual running does is essential if you want to get back into running. Not just stopping. Like that's not a good thing to do.
Absolutely. I mean, it's amazing because, you know, if you're keeping active, you're keeping your heart strong. You're promoting healing because the blood flow continues through doing these other exercises. The more blood flow you have to your muscles and your tendons and your ligaments, the faster they're going to heal. It's just,
well, you're staying fit. Like you're keeping your heart strong, your muscles, your lung capacity, like you're keeping everything going. Like, and you know, you're, like you said, like your friend was only 2 minutes behind, like his personal best. How amazing is that after a 5-week injury? Like, hello. I mean, that's just an example right there of active recovery versus complete rest after an injury.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's just amazing. And you know, if you do injure yourself out there, of course, go get out there to your physical therapist and let them work with you. Get a massage therapist in your corner, and they will help you to get back faster. But you know, Kirsten, your point of just staying active throughout the recovery cycle is just hugely important.
Absolutely. And I'm also a big proponent of babying your injury. Like depending on how serious your injury is, where it is, pay attention, baby yourself. And I don't mean baby yourself to where you're not doing anything, but being responsible and taking care of that. Yes, exactly. Exactly. But I have known people in the past that have kind of ignored their injury and they're like, I'm just going to push through.
That's me. For many years, I would do that.
I'm not a big proponent of that because that'll catch up to you. You know, again, going back to the benefits of cross training. And I would ask you, and I have asked my clients before who are runners, how much do you like to run? And they look at me like, well, you know, I love to run because that's what I do. I'm like, if you like to run, if you love to run, cross train so you can keep on running. So you don't have an injury that just knocks you out. You don't want a chronic injury. That's like none of us want that, right? Because then that takes us out of what we love to do. And not only if you love to do it, but it's like part of your life. It's just something you do for your mental well-being, for your self-care. It's just something, and you don't want that taken out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
I've been running now, Kirsten, for 10 years. And, I picked it up late in life, later in life. I was 42. I was Aaron's age when I first started.
Aaron's age.
Yeah. And it was one of those things, the first 5 years I was plagued with injury because all I was doing was not just only running with no cross training involved, but I was obsessed enough with running that I never just kind of ran to be in shape. I kind of started that way. I spent the first 2 years just kind of easing into it, which is the best way to start running.
Yes.
Just ease into it. Don't push yourself too hard. Because the gains you will make from easy running in that first year or two are huge anyway. You don't have to push hard to see a transformational change to your health and your fitness.
Right.
But once I got past that point, that's when I ran my first race. And there's something wrong in here, in the sense that once I got a taste of racing, oh boy, it created a monster. And so I spent many of the first years of my running career pushing myself, constantly pushing myself, always wanted to be right on the edge of that envelope. And I would hurt myself all the time, constantly, like I'd be pulling IT bands or plantar fasciitis or I mean, you name it, I've had it, and I've had it more than once probably. But as soon as I jumped into the gym, as soon as I started lifting, and as soon as I started doing a core routine, it improved my posture. It improved the way I carried myself so that I was running in a more efficient manner.
Wow.
And here I am in the last 5 years, I've had one injury that took me out for more than 1 week.
Wow, that's amazing. Because the amount that you run, like you guys that are watching, I'm sure you've been to Paul's channel before, but his training schedule, like his easy day would be like a hard day for me running. Like your easy day is like 7 miles. Like my 4 miles is it for me. Okay. But 7 miles is your easy day. And then like 22 miles, it's like you're like Sunday.
Yeah, that's like my Sunday. Yeah. But I mean, not to undersell what you're doing, Kirsten. I mean, 4 miles runs, that's nothing to sneeze at. That's a long way. And there are a lot of
you can sneeze at it, Paul. That's okay. Paul's like, I do that in my sleep. No.
No, it's all an effort. It's all an effort. Take nothing for granted.
But that is incredible that the extra work you've put into cross training, your core work, your endurance strength training has helped prevent those injuries.
Yeah, I know it's absolutely night and day. And it's one of those subjects that I thought was long overdue for me to cover with a dedicated video. And Kirsten, I just want to say that the reason I haven't covered it up until now is because I wanted to talk about it with somebody that I knew. Oh, cute puppy.
Yeah, that's
I wanted to talk about cross training with somebody beside me that I knew could cover it in an all-encompassing way with years of knowledge behind them, who I knew could do it well. And I found that in you finally. So thank you for being here.
I'm really honored. I'm really honored that you, asked me and had me on here. Truly honored. Thank you. Because there are, so many people that are, knowledgeable, and thank you. Thank you for asking me.
You're welcome. And let me just say, for anybody who is watching this on my channel, who is a regular viewer of my stuff or is already subscribed to my channel, go over to Kirsten's channel. The link is actually below us right now already in the show notes. And I will be adding more, so that people can find you all across social media, because, there are a lot of people in our community, and I'm not going to knock anybody else down, because I think, as I said earlier, the bigger the community, the more people who are involved in social media, talking and encouraging people to get healthy, the better off everyone is. So the more people, the better. But Kirsten, your channel, your personality clicks with me so well, and you've motivated me towards getting healthier, towards doing all this cross training that's kept me healthy. So, thank you for doing that. Thank you for being a part of this.
Thank you.
And before we get out of here for the night, I just want to encourage you to talk about where people can find you across social media.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. You're so kind. I am on Instagram, Kirsten QuickFit. I'm on Facebook, Kirsten QuickFit. I actually have a challenge page associated with my Kirsten QuickFit Facebook page. We do monthly challenges. I don't know, Paul, if you're familiar with Derek's Journey, but
Yes.
he's an amazing fitness channel, and he does step challenges. So I'm doing a step challenge this month, and in coinciding with my Facebook page step challenge. Aw, thanks, Misty. I think you're amazing. Yeah, so social media, Kirsten QuickFit. Oh,
okay, cool.
Misty,
So, yeah.
I'm so glad you came. We're so grateful.
Yeah, let me just take a moment to thank everybody who's participated in the chat, and anybody who's watching this afterwards. Drop a comment below. I'm not hunting for accolades and for thumbs up and stuff, but the more we all share together, the more we motivate each other. So
I can't believe it's been an hour.
I know, it
right?
just flew. It just flew.
It only seems like a couple minutes.
Exactly.
Go Team Orange!
Let's get in the last of these. I just want, again, everybody, thank you for participating in the chat. You made this conversation that much richer, and you made this hour fly by. So,
and Paul, you're going to come on my channel. We're going to do a live, and we're going to talk about how someone could get involved in running, or how running can be, a lot of times people are intimidated. I don't even know where to start. What do I focus on?
Yeah.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you for the invite, Kirsten. I'm more than happy to do it. I think the more people who run, the better place this world is. So I'm more than happy to share what I know about how to get started in a healthy way, in a way that's easy to understand, so that people don't hurt themselves in the pursuit of their own health. So thank you. And guys, I think we've belabored the point well enough for the evening. I'm going to sign off at this point. Everybody, thank you for being here tonight.
Thanks, you guys. Thank you.
We'll catch you next time around.
We'll see you around.
Bye.